Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars. My name is Colin,
And my name is James.
and this is commentary episode 1 for the Bad Batch.
Yeah, well, we're a little late, but we we finally made it. We're gonna we're
Yeah,
gonna do this for y'all. We're so sorry for taking a few weeks to catch up.
yeah. So I actually recorded the first episode of commentary, and
Yeah.
then I got a call from David saying like, yeah, you recorded it, but there's no audio, and I guess I didn't
Oh,
add myself to the actual stream, so it's just an hour and 15 minutes of silence. And I
but
was like,
that's the
okay,
best silence you've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like that was probably the best
exactly.
it's ever been.
I mean, exactly. Like when people go to Star Celebration next year, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, man, that 1 hour and 15 just golden,
That's awesome.
fantastic."
And actually, when we're recording, we're almost a year out from, or past a year out of Star Wars Celebration. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's gonna get here before we know it.
yeah. And something I just realized also next year's gonna be the 45th anniversary of A New Hope. So
Okay, I think they're just gonna stick to 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. I don't think they're gonna do.
I don't know, because at first I thought this year was like the 45th, and then I got correct, and I was like, "Yep, you're right." And then I was like, "You know what? If it was the 45th, I think Disney would have made a semi big deal out of it, of being like, I mean, because of they like always do that with like other franchises. Like I think it was every 5 years for Back to the Future. They were like, "This is the 30th. This is now the 35th anniversary of Back to
Yeah,
the Future,"
I
and I
know.
was like,
Yeah, Universal and did that with Jaws. Like they just kept every 5 years they would do something with Jaws. So who knows?
"Yeah,
Maybe Lucasfilm will do the same thing with A New Hope, but I don't know. I feel like
yeah,
I'm
I'm."
lower. But anyways, don't worry.
Yeah, like I'm not expecting like a big panel or anything.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to get a 45th anniversary shirt. So, anyways, the Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
It's so funny because people who don't know Star Wars think it says something else every time I post about the Bad Batch. Like, what are you watching? And I'm like, it's like, oh, I thought you meant the bad. I was like, no, not that. It's Bad Batch. It's Star
Yeah.
Wars. And of course, I know y'all have said it before, but this is like a complete brainchild of George Lucas. Like this was his idea to do something like this, and Filoni is finally getting to do the Bad Batch. I think that's just amazing. So I guess without further ado, because this is a long episode, we don't want to bore our patrons too much. And before we get started, patrons, thank you so much for being a part of this and for sticking
Yeah,
with
thank
us
you.
all this time. And but yeah, now Colin and I are gonna watch the Bad Batch. We're gonna see if we can time our our video or viewings up. So I'm at 000. You at 000 as well?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, press. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3, boom.
Got
Okay.
it.
Yeah, when I saw the new the helmets, I was like,
Oh yeah.
ooh.
I thought that was great. I love how they keep changing that up for sure, because I wasn't expecting them to, and they just went through all the different helmets, and I was like, nice.
And they're all the Disney animated or the Star Wars animated stuff. So did you think we were gonna get a the typical introduction? Like when it said the Clone
I
Wars,
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow. But then they were like, nah, dude. I
I
thought so cool.
I thought that we would get it in some way. I mean, because I figured that it would pick up around Order 66, and these cutscenes are great too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because of it really is like a copy and paste of like actual scenes from episode 3, like, and it's just animated. Because if you check out like of the scene where like right here, like Obi-Wan
Yeah,
and
Obi-Wan
Anakin, yeah, like
and then even
all of
Grievous.
this, yeah, all of this honestly is just a cut and paste from the film, and then they just reanimated it,
And you
because
know
I
what?
saw somebody lined up and it was
It was
perfect.
amazing. Like I gasped when I saw it because I was like, "Oh wow, they actually did it."
Yeah. So and we still don't know what legion that these clones are from.
Oh,
We have
that
no
that
idea.
that she's in control of.
Yeah, because I've tried to look it up and I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, as soon as I saw her, I was like, "Oh man, we're gonna get the Kanan show." Hey, so let me ask you this question: I've been hearing a bunch of people saying that, or it is like they've messed up the canon with this particular
Yes,
story.
yes. They they pretty much retconned the Kanan comic book series, which is funny because Disney kind of shot themselves in the foot by doing that. Because of now which I think is the first time they did it, but they made something that they made Legends,
And then
they've never
yeah,
done that before. Yeah.
that's really weird. So let me ask you this question. I know we're just having a conversation, but hey, we're watching Star Wars. But is it the whole from a certain point of view type of thing that they're thinking of doing with this, where they're going to be like, what we showed you did happen from a certain point of view, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Are they
yeah.
gonna throw that at us?
I could see them doing that. I mean they now have a book series called, A Certain Point of View, which
Yeah.
you've read and you've loved it.
Yes.
And I guess they could do something like that with Kanan, but honestly, I don't like. I mean, it's just it's a complicated thing. It really blew me away that they ended up like doing that. I mean, because of it's the same result of what happened in the comic, but just in a different circumstance. So
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if, like, in a couple of like another book or another series, they're gonna say something. They're gonna acknowledge this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. We just missed it though. The theme of the Bad Batch is amazing.
Oh yeah.
When I watched this, I went home and not when I went home. I was driving around town because I went to the Disney store on May 4th, and I cranked this song up because it was so cool.
Yeah,
I just love these guys, man. These guys are just so cool. Rekka.
So I was playing the Republic Commandos game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just thinking that I'm thinking that maybe the Bad Batch had some inspiration from Delta Squad from that game because I was playing it, and honestly all the characters have very similar traits to the characters from the Bad Batch.
I bet you they were. I bet you that was
Yeah.
like an inspiration.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
There's a character in there called Sev, and he's very similar to Wrecker. Like he's just headstrong, and like he just goes deep into battle, and it's So I love that game. If you guys haven't played that yet, I would definitely play it.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I saw a TikTok where they said Disney legit let Dave Filoni make a TV show about all of his favorite 80s characters.
Yeah.
Rambo, Mr. T, Egon. And like they started explaining, I was like, holy crap. Did he really do that?
Well, I mean, like honestly though, like he really does scream Rambo, and the I wonder if they're ever going to explain of why he wears that face paint, or maybe it's not even face paint. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's face paint. I think it's legit like
a big birthmark just on his face.
So is this Freddie Prinze Jr. as the voice of Kanan, and they didn't?
Yes. They like barely like. I mean,
why did they do that?
They like barely like made his voice higher, like barely.
You mean to tell me
the difference, but it's barely.
Okay, when he first started talking, I could tell a difference, but then later on, I'm like, that's Freddie Prinze Jr. Like, there's no.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm thinking Disney couldn't find a voice actor, young child who could do this voice. You know what I mean?
I mean, so I think Disney's starting to. I mean, with like Star Wars is starting to take more of the voice stuff like very seriously, and I mean, and by that I mean like they are bringing some of the original voice actors to live action to play some of those characters. I can honestly see Freddie Prinze Jr. play like a live action Kanan. I could totally see them doing that.
And that's another thing is like, how long was his contract for? You know what I mean? Like they were like, well, we already got him. He can't say no. He has to come, do this part for us.
Right. But, and Matt Lanter also said that, he wasn't done with Anakin. So we'll definitely see more Anakin too. I thought on this part that she was kind of acting like a boomer.
Oh my god!
And wait, what's his line? See, like,
right I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that sounded like a real boomer right there.
And I like that they did that, to kind of make it relatable
Yeah.
to everybody. Who's your favorite of the Bad Batch? Oh
Ooh,
god, here it goes.
yeah.
Oh
Okay,
god,
yeah. And
oh.
something that's crazy is that Disney. I'm and now this is on Disney. It's crazy to like think about it, but they keep touching on the darkest event that has ever happened in the Star Wars universe.
And it's crazy. They're just blatantly
Yeah,
doing it. Like I
yeah.
remember when it's crazy. Like when I first saw Order 66 back, 2005 and Revenge of the Sith, I remember just being like, "Whoa, this is dark."
I cried like a baby. I was like, "No, all the Jedi were so cool." Oh man, yeah. And then they're playing the music and.
She told him to run. And you
Yeah,
see, that's
yeah,
another thing is like like he did say that the last thing he saw was her
yeah.
telling him to run. So
Right, and now that scene in Star Wars
jeez.
Rebels, when the Grand Inquisitor is like torturing Kanan, and he's like, "What was the last word
Yeah,
that she
exactly.
ever said to you?" And then he's like, "Run." Now that scene has more meaning because of this scene right here, and I think this is kind of a good introduction to like, kind of get you pumped up for Star Wars Rebels. You're like, wait, what? Like Kanan? And then you watch it and like, oh, it's the kid that survived Order
Yeah.
66.
I love that it's all connected. I love that
Yeah.
Favreau, Filoni is just getting it all together. And
Yeah.
I know a couple of days ago or a week ago we were talking about how Dave Filoni is now the executive creative of Lucasfilm, but apparently he's been the creative executive of Lucasfilm since like last year. But
Right.
yeah,
And they recently just like officially gave him the title. And I mean, and I feel like a lot of people make a big deal out of it. I mean, we kind of were because we didn't know what the full situation was, but then
yeah,
people
yeah.
were saying
What?
it. And we're like, all right, well,
But
that's fine.
now that you know that, you look at Mandalorian season 2, you look at Bad Batch and you realize, yeah, he's in control. He's making sure all of this is flowing together, And I
Yeah.
like it. Freaking Crosshair, man.
Yeah. So I'm curious if like after this scene, then in his comic book series, if it would continue directly after that. Like
Oh,
I
I see
mean,
what you're saying. Yeah.
there like you're right. There is a possibility that they didn't talk about that they didn't talk like they fully talk about all the stuff that happened like with Kanan.
Hmm.
Um and they just didn't put that in the comic book, and then this is where it kind of fills the gaps because I could totally see that being the case, but it's just it, it it's a very interesting thing because of they kind of did shoot themselves in the foot by like kind of retconning like that scene where he does see her get killed, and then you kind of have to rethink the whole like comic book series. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Yeah.
Or is this Filoni paying more tribute to Lucas by blatantly changing things
Oh
while you're
yeah.
writing it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah, but like
I read
this
that
is the
book
first
called
time.
The Secret History of Star Wars and how Lucas was just like, this might work. They're like, but you already said this, and he goes, it doesn't matter. How come he didn't like? How come the gun didn't get sliced in half? Like he just like electrocutes the gun. You know what I mean? That didn't make any sense to me.
That also isn't the first time that happens in this episode.
Oh,
Because of
really?
yeah, because of near the end when like what happens with Crosshair, like his like weapon gets like shot at and it shocks and it
Oh,
kind
I
of
wonder if
explodes.
there's a electric. He has like some type of field around it,
Oh,
so that doesn't happen. Oh, okay. There we go. We just figured it out. I will say this though, even though the animation style is the same from Clone
Clone
Wars in the
Wars
first
and
season, it's looking so amazing. Like look at
oh
the
my
the
gosh,
light,
yeah.
all that. It looks awesome.
I honestly wish that they did this with Star Wars Rebels, but Star Wars Rebels animation is so unique because it's based off Ralph McQuarrie, like
Yeah,
his like
yeah.
style. So I thought that's what made Star Wars Rebels unique. But I remember first watching it, and that first season was just like, oh, like it didn't really get good until the end, and then you watch the other seasons, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, the Rebels final
Had a rough
seasons
start.
had a
Yeah,
really rough start to where I was like, I don't want to watch this. And then after the end of season 1, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be good. and
yeah,
the Rebels plot line is one of my favorites that Star Wars has done. It's pretty great.
yeah.
And there he goes.
Jumps. Nice. Now I can't wait until next year because we are going to be getting more stuff around this time era because we are
Yeah.
getting Kenobi and we're getting and Andor is supposed to be like the James Bond of Star Wars. So
I
it's
man,
it,
I hope it is all of that and more. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
hope because if I'm not mistaken, oh my gosh, what's his name? The guy who took over for Rogue One and the writer.
Gareth Edwards? Oh no,
No,
not
that
him.
was the
No.
director.
Yeah.
Gilroy, Tony Gilroy. Since
Yep.
he wrote the Bourne movies, I'm wondering if he's going to bring some of that aspect to Andor. But yeah, we'll see.
He,
But
I mean, he probably will. Like, I mean, I think something that they're getting a lot better at, especially because of Dave Filoni's position, is that they are giving more fan service. Like not
mhm.
fully, but just the right amount to where you're
Yeah,
like, this is
yeah, there's a
great.
crazy blend of fan service and like
N-
making
and new stuff.
it your exactly because you can mess up if you do that for too long.
Yeah.
But man,
It, oh man.
this is awesome. Like when they get to Camino and you see like how it's starting to go. This was like the most interesting part of Star Wars because it's a whole timeline and part of the timeline that I've always been curious about. Like where was the switch between the clones and the stormtroopers? And so for me, this is very very fascinating because that's always like kind of been a mystery to me. When did that happen? I'm pretty sure you know the answer to it all, but for me, I didn't really know all of like what happened.
So Sam most likely is going to be right because of when like we first watched the May 4th, like he was like, okay, they most likely will end up doing some type of genocide to the clones,
Mm,
or plan B is that which I think is hilarious, is that the Emperor pretty much didn't want to use the clones anymore because he wanted to save money
hmm.
because it pretty much
He's
sounded
building
like
the.
no. Like honestly, like this is the honest truth. It sounds like the clones were no longer in his budget, and he wanted to find a different route.
Mm,
But he wanted to make it sound like there was some type of agenda of recruiting stormtroopers and new Imperials, when in reality he was just trying to save money. And I just think that's
mm.
hilarious. Um, because if they kept the clones, they honestly would have won the war.
Yeah, the war between the Empire and the Rebellion would have been over in no time because of how huge the clone army was.
Yeah.
So, who's your favorite of the Bad Batch?
Hunter.
Hunter.
Hunter. I like Echo because, he is the original,
So,
out
whose
of all of them.
lightsaber is this?
We have no idea who that Jedi is.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
even
I
know what
thought there was a
species that
whole.
is. No, I have no idea. I mean, there are rumors, but I think someone came up with the theory that like with some of the dead Jedi, they are bringing them to that they are bringing them to Camino, and they
Mhm.
are trying to clone their DNA, and they are gonna try and make force sensitive clones like Star Killer from Force Unleashed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's who they think that Omega is because of not that she's Star Killer, but she's a force sensitive clone, which
Mm,
honestly would make sense because of there's different moments in the show where like it looks like she is kind of using the force, and
gotcha.
I could totally see it happening. Awesome, yeah.
I like that we have toothpicks in Star Wars. I don't know. That just makes me so happy. So excuse me. That makes me so happy that we have those.
Yeah. And something else I realized about Echo and his helmet. It will probably show it like real soon, but if you look at Echo's helmet, it's not like where he puts it on, like it's kind of like a mask, and then he puts it on like that, and then there's like a thing in the back because he has that Lobot thing.
Oh
I don't know what
wow.
it's called. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's an amazing attention to detail.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing that like mark on Hunter's face. I know a lot of people are thinking it's paint, but now I think it's more of a birthmark.
Yeah, I think that's a birthmark. I mean, because look at all of them. They all have a certain. I mean, I don't want to say defect, but there was something that happened during the cloning. Like look at Wrecker's face. Nothing really wrong with.
No, I mean, so I think it'd be really funny if like they ended up like we seeing them live action at one point. It would just be to Morrison's face,
just
like,
duplicated
in like every way, and it would just be interesting to see.
I would love that
in live action. But props to Bradley D. Baker for doing all the voices for pretty much the show.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We just missed that line. You are more machine now than man. I was like, ooh, okay, there we go.
I understood that reference.
I catch that. I got that reference.
Yeah. And then we kind of understand where Bad Batch is in the timeline of this. So this is right as like this is right before the line where Padme is like, and this is where Liberty dies with thunderous applause.
I love.
They had to Mustafar. So
he said that has left me deformed. You could say that again. And I love that Lucasfilm can use the oh, there she is. I love that Lucasfilm can use the same audio from the movies.
Yeah,
because that's Ian McDiarmid's voice from Revenge of the Sith. That's not the voice actor they had for the Clone Wars.
No, and something great about that too is that he actually came back to play the Emperor and gave totally new lines in Star Wars Rebels.
That was right, yeah.
And seeing that, I was like, why didn't he do that in the Clone Wars? Like, why didn't he voice the Emperor in the Clone Wars?
I don't know, because Clone Wars, when that happened, was such a risk. You know, like when it was on Cartoon Network, I don't think they were still confident that people were super on board. I don't think they gave George Lucas a lot of money for those first few seasons.
No, because I mean, honestly, by the time that they got to the 100th episode, which was around the Umbara arc, which is probably one of the like greatest arcs they've done, besides like the arc that involved Ryloth. I thought that they couldn't do better than that, and then they got to the part where like Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, and you're just like, whoa, like what the heck?
So let's just point out the fact that Omega is working.
The hair of Palpatine.
That has the hair of Palpatine, but this character is killing it. You know what I mean? Like everybody likes this character. You know, it was one of those. It's one of those things. Anytime Star Wars introduces a new character, I'm always kind of like, is it gonna work? Is it people? But no, everybody thinks Omega is awesome. I think she's awesome. I can't wait to see like. I have a prediction. I guess now we can say it since this is the first one. I don't think she's gonna make it. I think something bad's gonna happen.
I don't think any of these characters are
gonna. I don't think any of them.
I think it's like Rogue One. I think it's like you get attached to these characters, and then at the end they all die in some awesome way, and then it just cuts to what we know.
No, I agree. I'm convinced. Especially after the past episode of the last week when we saw Fennec Shan, with how many people are kind of after her, I'm like, oh, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And
there he is.
I love that Grand Moff.
Showed up. Yeah, he has shown up so much in the past couple of years, like in different Star Wars. Oh, Taun We's here.
There she is. Yeah. So let me. Do you think Peter Cushing would have been happy that his character is going on, or do you think he would have been like,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
okay?
yeah. I mean, he made such an iconic performance. So
And he's only
it
in one movie. You know what I mean? Like he's only in one
yeah.
movie, but he was so good as that character.
Can we talk about how much he's aged since like a year and a half since we first saw him in the Clone
Yeah,
Wars?
true, man. Clone Wars
Like,
has not been good to him at
no,
all.
man.
That's so funny.
I mean, I think it's great that we are seeing Taun We because of we haven't seen Taun We since Attack of the Clones, and she was not in she wasn't
Clone Wars at all?
in Clone Wars at all.
I,
So
I
you
love that.
guys missed
Oh,
the line too.
what did he say?
Sorry. Where he was like the Emperor wants to save money and not use your clones because of they want to recruit, and then Lama Su and the like the person in charge of Camino are trying to convince them that having the clones is more efficient and will
Mhm.
keep them in business because of if they lose their contract with the Empire, then it sounds like they're completely broke because
Yeah.
no one else in the galaxy is going to want to make more clones unless it's like a private contractor or something.
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do with a clone army if you're not trying to, take over the galaxy?
Right.
Because I like to blow things up.
Got it.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna get that tattooed on my chest. I like to blow things up
I like to
because
blow things up.
I like to blow things up. Oh,
Yeah, she actually reminds me of our other co-host Ray. I have no idea why.
have you told
But
Ray this?
yeah, I have. No, her personality just lines up with
With
Ray's.
Ray. Well, maybe we should have
that's
Ray be. I know she just got Sabe, and she's now a member of the Rebel Legion, but now maybe
Yeah.
she should be Omega.
Well, she actually has been a member of the Rebel Legion for a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah, but she's been looking to do more costumes, and Sam just got a short trooper, and we're actually gonna have our first troop together in a year and a half.
Oh wow,
on June 19th. So I'm super excited. I'm flying back from Michigan because I'm doing wedding stuff, but a troop lined up there.
that was when I started liking Omega right there. I was like, oh, she's awesome. I was like, I like her a lot. I remember I had to point out to somebody. They were like, "Is she important?" And I was like, "Yeah, because her name's Omega." They're like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Well, come on." And I had to look. I had to show them the what the definition of Omega is, and they're like, "Oh wow, so she is important." I'm like, "Yeah, what is your deal?" The moment in the trailer when she said my name is Omega, I was like, "Oh man, she is there is something huge about her that we have no idea about."
You should explain that to the audience because probably not everyone knows
So
exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, and it's the first time I ever heard Omega. I know it was in Bible study, the Alpha and the Omega, which literally means the beginning and the end. So the term Omega is, I believe, it's Latin for the end, the ending. So she is in a way the final of the clones. And so they made her last, and they gave her the name Omega, but they made her different. So obviously, because it's a woman instead of a man. So it's like, what are they doing with this? And I know she's gonna the whole show's gonna be about her. So let me ask you this question. Hey, look who it is. Is Star Wars just sticking to the formula of just having a child that we have to protect in every and it's working. I'm not gonna badmouth them, but
no,
is that what they're doing?
I mean, it's kind of similar to it. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that we don't. If we see that in Kenobi, I'll kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, you guys got to pick a different.
Well, the thing in Kenobi is gonna be he's gonna be looking after Luke. So
right, and I mean, and that's fine because of that. was the original like meme. I mean, because of he was the one that kind of started it all. So
Yeah, very true.
that's completely fine. But like, I don't want him to find like a different kid and be like, you know what, this is my new project. Like, I don't want that
I
to
have to
happen.
watch this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great though if they did that. I'd be like, man, Filoni. But what's crazy though is the whole father and son storyline is George Lucas's life. His relationship with his father and him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's really funny that plot line is still playing out even from the first Star Wars movie with the guy who wants to go on an adventure and he doesn't want to stay at home all day and
Yeah.
that they know that we get that through all the movies, and now Filoni's doing this, this type of story. So I'm wondering what Filoni's upbringing was to inspire him to do this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because like it's he has done so many like projects like besides Star Wars. Like he worked on Avatar: the Avatar: The Last Airbender too, and
Which is awesome because I remember I know this is gonna sound terrible, but I recently just watched The Last Airbender for the first time
okay.
last year, and I remember after some of the episodes, I was like, "Oh, that was awesome!" And then at the end, it would say directed by Dave Filoni, and I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "I knew it! I freaking knew it!"
So some people were thinking that that this clone with the red pauldron
Mhm.
is Commander Fox, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
What happened to Fox?
Uh, Commander Fox is still in Coruscant.
Mhm.
And we actually know his fate. He actually gets killed by Darth Vader because of who is the librarian from Coruscant.
I remember. Dude, David knows that, which is disgusting. But I know who you're talking about, but I don't know what her
Yeah,
name is.
yeah. Yeah. Her. So she gets captured by Vader, and she tells she like says out loud, like, "You're Anakin Skywalker. I can sense that. I know." And then Darth Vader just kills everyone on the ship with him, including Commander Fox, and he force pushes him like out of the ship, and he dies because he hits
Whoa!
a bunch of buildings below. But like, um, Darth Vader went on a rampage, um, uh, onto anyone who tried to figure out who he was,
Who he
and
was?
we actually see that in the Thrawn novel too, where Thrawn and Vader go on a mission, and years before him and Anakin were on a mission during the Clone Wars, and Thrawn was just trying to get a rise out of Vader, like pretty much saying like, I know who you are under that mask, but he never got a real confirmation, even though Thrawn suspected it. But yeah.
That's pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I love that like stuff like this, Clone Wars, the Thrawn books, even the comic books as well, are just filling in these gaps that George Lucas. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
he had gaps, but that the storyline, the plot line, the timeline that George Lucas created, and they're adding in these bits and pieces. They're not taking anything away from what Star Wars is, and I think that's
Yeah.
just the best. I think that is the best thing that Disney has done with Star Wars is they're saying, "Hey, this happened, but we're not episode 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. That doesn't affect it. It's
No.
just adding in a little pieces here and there, and I think that's amazing that they're doing this.
Yeah, because like I think that they are definitely going to add more Mandalorian elements. I mean, there's a chance that
Oh
we might
yeah,
see Grogu, which would be pretty great. But I think a more better chance of us seeing is Thrawn. I think Thrawn could definitely make an appearance in here, like a small
oh
cameo or something. Because of not everyone knows who Thrawn is. Like, I mean, like the novels are great, and I mean, and right here is actually like a perfect kind of tie-in into the Mandalorian 2, is like the first prototypes of the Dark Troopers right here.
yeah, right there. Yep.
And
Dude, I didn't even freaking catch that, man. Good job.
no, yeah.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's them. That's the prototypes for the troopers and Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I like honestly think that right now what they're trying to do is what they started with the Clone Wars is to make the prequels like more exciting and thrilling, and that's what they did with the Clone Wars because of it fills in that 3-year gap from episode 2 to episode 3.
And
And what
I
they're doing with
yeah.
the I'm
No,
sorry.
sorry. Keep
And
going.
and what they're doing with the Mandalorian is that they are trying to tie in the sequels into it, so then they can make the sequels more watchable than what they are now.
Yeah, and I think
Because
that's
of we
why
saw Snoke and all that stuff too.
that is why there is a deeper respect for the prequels nowadays, because
Yes.
you're a little, I'm not saying you're young, but you're a little younger than I am, to where when the prequels were big, I know, right? You're offended. No. When the prequels were out, there was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of people who hated the prequels, a lot of people who
I
didn't like the
remember.
prequels.
I
You
was
remember?
3 in 1999. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you remember reading the articles when you're but yeah, it was bad. It was crazy. But then after Clone Wars and all these years later,
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my god, the prequels are the best things in the world." And I'm like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Man, a lot of y'all did a 180." But then maybe some people were just gung ho for the. I was gung ho for the prequels. I thought the prequels were great. I knew they weren't as good as the original movies, but even as a kid, I was like, "This is Star Wars." Like, I'm freaking watching Star Wars.
Right. Yeah. I will always remember seeing episode 3 in the theater. And it's because of it was on my birthday that we went and
Aw,
saw it. Because of the movie came on May 19th, because of May 19th, at midnight, at theaters,
that was a Thursday night, by the way. It wasn't a
y-
Friday. It came out on a
yeah.
Thursday. But yeah.
Yeah, and then we like went and saw on my actual birthday, like after school. Like my dad like bought tickets, and like he was never the guy like to go and do that. And I just remember watching this movie and just being blown away. And then Order 66 happened. I came out of the theater crying, and I just remembered that the impact of the fight that Anakin and Obi-Wan had at Mustafar, that was like the most iconic thing to me. And I love lightsabers, but after that I got really into learning on how to do the actual like forms of fighting. Yeah, but
I know we're just talking over this sequence right now, but this sequence is really, really cool. This sequence is bad ace, man.
Yeah, there you go, Echo.
Man, now I'm mad that I didn't realize that these were the Dark Troopers from Mandalorian. Like, these are the prototypes.
Yeah.
This is that.
No, you know what? Well, it's not this part. It's the next part. That's the where you're just like, oh, that was sick. Like that was cool.
Is this it right here?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, because he's like Wrecker knife.
Oh yeah. Dude, that is so cool.
Oh man,
that was so cool.
Yeah,
I love it, dude. I don't know. And I like that. Even as a 32-year-old man, I can watch something of Star Wars and be like, "Oh my god, that was awesome!"
Yeah. I mean, something great about Star Wars is that it keeps surprising you. Like things that you thought you knew are completely different.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And seeing, I was gonna say something that surprises me is that for a show that they put on Disney Plus, this is pretty violent.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm surprised by this. Because of like I said before, they are touching on the darkest moment of the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Disney that is allowing it to happen, because of not only did we see this, but we actually got to live through it again in the Clone Wars, and then in Jedi Fallen Order through the campaign, like in that, and you actually had to fight clones, and you actually have to survive. And
you have to get out of there. Yeah,
yeah. So it's crazy that they keep touching up on this.
I mean, I would have gotten the actor who did his voice or who did his acting in Rogue One for Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh yeah. Well, the actor that's been doing him like since the his first appearance in Clone Wars and then all of his stuff in Rebels,
Yeah.
I thought he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he did. But I was
Yeah,
blown away when I found out that the actor who did it in Rogue One, like that was his voice, like mimicking
yeah.
Peter Cushing. I was like, holy crap.
Fun fact, but did you know that Ezra was actually born on the day of like it's known as Empire Day, but like on the day of Order 66. So he is actually the same age as Luke Skywalker.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Because of in Star Wars Rebels, like in the first season, um it takes place 5 years before the events of A New Hope.
So he would have been
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I've seen Rebels, but Leia does show up in Rebels, and they're
Yep.
about the same age. Okay,
Yep.
that's right.
Yeah.
Man, oh my god. Anyways,
Yeah.
man, I want to watch all of Clone Wars and everything with you now, Colin, so I can get all these amazing. Because
Yeah.
that's what I love about Star Wars is that there's a part of Star Wars that I know that you might know, and then there's a part of Star Wars that that I have no idea about. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's what's so great that everybody has their own quote unquote Star Wars that they latch onto, and I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, because like the Clone Wars was my childhood. Like
Hmm.
every Friday after school, like I mean there were football games and stuff that I would go to, and I would be so thankful that like because of back then, this show was not on Netflix. Like if you
No,
wanted to watch it all the way through, you would have to go to Walmart or somewhere else and actually buy like the disc
the
set.
box set of these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just remember my like mom would be like, no, no way, and I was like, okay, and then I have to wait till my birthday. But I loved doing that every Friday night if I could. If not, then I would go and watch it every Saturday morning with like a bowl of cereal and just be blown away, like by all the crazy adventures that these characters would go on, and then when they ended up, putting the entire series on Netflix and doing like the like kind of season 6 of the Lost
The
Missions.
Lost Missions, yeah.
My friend Noah and I like we pulled an all-nighter and we watched all 13 episodes.
That's beautiful.
And I just remember like the parts with like where Liam Neeson like came back and voiced, and we kind of learned how Yoda became a Force ghost. I was like, oh man, this is
that
this
was
is
the
so
best,
cool.
dude.
This is so cool. And then they actually pay homage to that in Rebels, where Ezra was looking for like his
Kyber crystal.
And we actually see like Yoda kind of doing the spirit thing, and I was like, that's awesome. So it's I love these kind of moments, and I love these shows because it really does tie in things, and soon we don't know when, but Captain Rex is definitely coming back. Like, and the planet they're on looks very similar to the one that we see in Jedi Fallen Order. I believe it's the planet is it's
Zephyr.
Well, there's Zepho, but
Zepho.
The planet that Cal Kestis is on for like 5 years
Oh yeah,
at the game stuff that happened. It is called Baraka. That's the planet. Yeah. So I think they have a great chance to kind of tie things in. I would love for them to like tie in the thing with Grogu, because if we know someone took him from the temple, and it would be great if the Bad Batch finds a Jedi and we find out that that person has Grogu.
I think Favreau is gonna he's gonna want to show that. I don't know. That's such a huge moment in Star Wars now that I think that they're gonna wait until like season 3 or 4 of Mandalorian to show it.
Well, I mean, well, at the same time, Dave Filoni had a big part of that scene as well.
Oh, I know that, but I'm okay. I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I could see Disney saying like, let's wait a little bit before we show like what happened with Grogu, But
Yeah.
but me being the fan of Star Wars, I would love to see it in this show. Like I would love to see Bad Batch
Yeah.
come across Grogu. I love the fact that I was gonna say Forrest Whitaker, but Saw Gerrera just shows up everywhere now in
Oh
anything
yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. And this is actually the first time for a while that it is not voiced by Saw Gerrera. It is voiced by the original actor who played him in his first appearance. And a lot of people like something that was great about Rogue One is that Saw Gerrera was the first like original Clone Wars character
To ever
to
be live action.
actually to
Yeah,
be live action.
a character that
And
was specifically created for Clone Wars was put in live action. Yeah, I thought
right.
that was crazy that they did that.
And not only that is that he was played by like a famous actor, like
Yeah,
like
yeah, they got Forrest freaking Whitaker to play
yeah,
him, and you know that was, and you're right. I didn't think about that. That was the first time that Clone Wars was or Star Wars was like, hey, we can bring some of these people over, and
yeah,
it could work. And now look at this. Now that's what
yeah.
everybody wants now is.
I saw some people like when the trailer like came out for this and we did see Saw Gerrera. I saw, you know, a lot of famous YouTubers saying like, I wonder who this new character is. And I'm like, what?
You're like, it's
I
like the
yeah,
moment you see him, you're like, that's Saw Gerrera. Like, there's no
right. I was
other.
like, how do you not know that? Like,
But
I mean,
are we gonna see him get like messed up in this series?
well,
Or are we gotta wait a little bit longer?
well, so if you play the game in of Jedi Fallen Order, you actually see that you know the only thing messed up is his hair. He doesn't have his hair anymore.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, he's like still got everything like he doesn't have like a robot leg or
So
anything
okay,
yet.
so we still
So
we have
that like
time.
probably happens in later years.
Okay. I've always wanted to know like how he got just messed up.
I don't know why, but I got a gut feeling that he's probably gonna show up in the Cassian
The Andor series.
show. Yeah, I could see him showing up there for a bit, or he could show up in Kenobi in some way because of if like Kenobi kind of leaves the planet and goes on his own thing, then he might run into Saw and be like, "Hey, it's my old friend Saw." Because at that point, you know, Saw's not that crazy, not yet anyway. But
Yeah.
Saw goes crazy at one point.
Remember they emphasized these kids a lot. I was like, who are these kids supposed to be? But I think they just did it just to show that there's kids there. I don't think those kids are like anybody.
Yeah, it's it's just like the girl in the second season of Mandalorian in the school that had like the 3 buns, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, it's young Rey."
Well, I knew it wasn't young Rey, but I was just so confused why they did the 3 bun girl. Like it was, and then I guess it's because they're like, hey, it's a hairdo in Star Wars.
Yeah.
People have hairdos.
Look at that. Saw at this point has some gray hair, and then he loses it, and then he gains it all back, and it looks all like a really wacky afro. And
Yep. And he has to breathe through a tube. What else does he have to do? He doesn't have his leg, right? Or he doesn't have either of his legs, right?
No. They're like robot legs. So there's probably some explosion. Honestly, they could probably do like a Saw Gerrera show if they really wanted to.
They couldn't afford to get Forrest Whitaker to do that unless they do it all like this, you know, this animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. They're lying about everything,
man. I love the fact that
conspiracies, man.
I know, right? Is you know how they were fighting the separatists were fighting the Republic, and now they're fighting the Empire. You know what I mean? And it's like, who were the good guys and who were the bad guys during the Clone Wars? You know what I mean? It starts to really mess with you when you think about that, because that's what Cassian Andor, his family fought the Republic during the Clone Wars. They were a separatist, and then years later,
I didn't know that. There you go. I'm learning stuff from you.
And then it wasn't until later when they find out that now it's the Empire, and they still keep fighting that Empire, which is that line, I've been fighting this war since I was 6 years old, you know, that Andor says. And it just messes with you because you're like, who, you know, then you realize that Clone Wars was just a huge evil ploy created by Palpatine, you know. and it's just crazy.
That actually makes for like a really good story. I like that.
Okay, a Clone War may have ended, but a civil war is about to begin. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, guess what? In a couple of years, you get killed by a rock.
Yeah, you get killed. You take it head on too. I'll give you that, Saw. You stood there and
No,
you
no,
took it
no,
head on.
no. That honestly, like he like could have just gotten on the ship,
Yeah, you're right, but they needed
make it
to
more
fight.
dramatic,
Yeah.
like because none of these characters are on A New Hope, so they were like, you know what, we have to wipe out everyone.
That's one of my favorite lines though of Rogue One. There's a problem on the horizon. There is
There's
no
no,
horizon.
yeah,
Alan Tudyk, man.
yeah, K2. I think it said that there's that K2SO is not going to show up in the series, right?
I think they said something to the effect of if he does, it's not going to be like
Like a big thing.
yeah. So
Oh, that's a bummer. And I don't know why, because of, probably because of money reasons, because it's just really hard to
animate.
get him to be in every scene.
I love that though. He's like, what's he say? I'll be there. Cassian says I have to.
Yeah. See, now if they did like an animated show, see, something I wish is that for all animated shows, I wish they kept it in this style because of
Mm,
like it's the original style. It's great. I I was kind of off balance at first with the style that they did for Star Wars Rebels, and I was like, oh okay. And then you have the show The Resistance come out, and it's like a weird anime thing, and I was like,
yeah, that didn't work too well.
no, and actually, I believe Joseph loved that show. He like actually went to the panel for it, and I was like, wow.
I remember I
Um,
liked the first few episodes, and then after a while, I was kind of like, all right, this is
no,
getting kind of
no,
crosshairs being
uh,
bad.
I love the first episode because of we had the two,
The announcers from the Pod Racing.
yeah, yeah. I don't care what part of the universe you're from. That's gotta
Gotta hurt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Crosshair, what's wrong with you?
You know, he's so evil. Evil. He's such an evil person.
It's his
Omega.
chip, though. It's chip. It's all about the chip.
It's all about the chip.
It's got a point.
I remember I figured that out like as soon as they said it. I was like, wait, Echo's not part of the program. He wasn't made that way. And then I was like, oh, it's Omega.
He's gonna take his toothpick. He's gonna throw it at him.
Yeah. Again, there are toothpicks in Star Wars.
I mean, I just want I want an episode of a show of Star Wars where one day they have a normal day where he's like, man, I like have to do laundry and I have to take my suit to the dry cleaners and I have to get groceries and oh my gosh, my like speeder needs a car wash. Like,
I got to
let's
get
do
my
that.
oil changed, my speeder. I gotta go.
I mean, it is just them just doing errands. Like that would be funny if like the first half of the Kenobi show, like the first episode is just Obi-Wan waking up. He is like doing chores around the farm. He like gets in his speeder. He like goes to like get like groceries and it would just be super funny
Like,
just
what
to
the
see
hell is
Obi-Wan.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what we should do next. We should write a series of Star Wars characters doing everyday things in the Star Wars world. All right, I want that doll. I want that doll.
Darth Vader waking up. He's like having his whole suit cleaned and when he's in the back of the tank and then it shows you like how he eats food and he has to press a button and it goes down
Yeah.
his tube and the Bad Batch. And I believe this is our first time what it kind of looks like to see like a droid spine.
I love that they did that though. That reminds me
Yeah.
of Predator when he rips out the spine of the person.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What's the droid's name? Because of I like know that he was the droid that was in the episodes with like Fives
Yeah.
when they were trying to figure out the whole chip thing. I'm surprised he didn't get decommissioned. Well, now he's decommissioned.
Now he's decommissioned. AZ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, this whole time I'm just like, save Omega.
Save the dream.
save the dream. I was gonna, man, I remember we
Save the
talked about
mind.
it with
Save the dream.
Forrest Whitaker. I was like, man, he's a great actor, but man, he overacted the hell out of that part, man. Like that was
And
his
yeah.
performance was so over the top. I was like, oh my god.
I remember the commentary that you, David, and
Oh,
Joseph
yeah.
did for Rogue One. And I
Oh my
remember
gosh.
being at work, and at that point, I wasn't a host. I was just a producer,
Yeah.
and I just remember like of just listening to it, and I just remember you guys were just cracking up at that scene of yeah, that
Oh my gosh.
that was so funny.
We could not stop talking. If y'all haven't heard that one, go. It was one of our earlier episodes where
Yep.
David and Joseph and I did a commentary for Rogue One, and that was so much fun. That was a lot of
Oh, it
fun.
was great. It was fantastic. Of course, on guard, shock troopers coming at you.
What was he gonna grab? His knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
He looks like I know he looks like he's supposed to look like Rambo, but he also looks like Solid Snake from Metal Gear
Yeah.
as well.
I feel like he's a combination of different characters.
Just really cool characters. They were like, you're just gonna be really cool. Compilation of really cool characters.
I think in the newest episode, he is wearing an outfit that looks similar to when Rambo's on the run.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah, he does.
and he's like wearing like a weird like kind of colored tank top, and it's very similar to what of Hunter wears in the episode.
Yeah,
I was like, nice.
I like that. Hey, it wasn't a complete failure, and there she is in the corner. Yeah, she's gonna die, dude. That's what makes me so sad. Like something bad's gonna happen, and then I agree. I don't think any of them are gonna make it through this whole thing.
No.
I like my cup says coffee in case you need to verify. I'm not drinking anything else but coffee.
Nice.
I can't believe it. One guy does all these voices, and he gives each of them their own like unique style. It just blows me away. Even during Clone Wars itself, like he was doing all the voices, but he made each of them different. Oh, so what'd you do? Oh, nice.
Oh.
Whoa. You can see all my boxes in the background. Don't look at those. Don't look at those. Guerrera is one letter away from my last name. That's what's so funny.
Guerrera.
Yeah.
You are the next Saw Gerrera.
I am the next Saw Herrera.
Saw Gerrera.
That's not even how you're supposed to say my last name. I can't roll my R's or so that's
Herrera.
No, you don't pronounce the H. You just go
No.
Yeah. In Spanish, you don't pronounce the H.
Oh.
So
Well,
it's
then-
Herrera.
What's the point of having the H there then?
It's just so you can spell it, but the J sound is pronounced with an H.
So
Spanish is weird.
So
my name is Jaime Herrera. Yeah, Jaime. Or Santiago if you're from Spain. Anyways, that's a nice little lesson for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyways. Jeez.
No, you stand down.
And that's it. And then he betrays them. Do you think he's
Yeah.
gonna have a redemption arc at the very end of the show?
I think he will. I think he'll end up, having like a sacrifice type thing where like they end up trying to fix his chip, like it works out, and then he tries to redeem himself, and he sacrifices himself, and then he gets killed. But it's not like the actor's out of the job because that same actor voices the rest of the clones.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, very true. But I was just wondering, like, if Crosshair is gonna be just a complete like jerk the whole time. If he's gonna be like the villain of the whole series,
yeah.
maybe. During the mission.
How good those code cylinders? It's just Sharpies.
Hey, we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I like the scene because of, I like the show because of it dives deeper into what the chips like really do, and it just makes you more compliant to orders. And I mean, and we already knew that, but now we're seeing it at a full effect.
Yeah.
And especially with Crosshair, who was a good soldier, like of the Republic, but then when the Empire came in, like it just completely transformed him, and now he's even more darker than ever. And we actually, I think we see that in the second episode, and where he actually shoots like,
Yeah, that was dark. Even for
Yeah.
like a regular show,
yeah,
that was dark. Let alone a Disney show. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
yeah, and you're just blown away because you have to remind yourself, this is on Disney Plus, like Disney, like magic. So it's just like, okay, all right, we are going in this direction. That's fine with me. But something also great about the show is that we are getting Star Wars every single week this summer,
Yes.
and that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Lucasfilm.
Yeah, thank you. Because we still know nothing about the Book of Boba Fett.
I know. And we're getting that this Christmas.
Yeah, I know. No like trailer or anything, nothing.
If y'all heard that sound, that was my dog yawning over here. She just woke up. So I'm sorry. I like how they all stand in front of, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yep. He's like, nope, no one will see us here.
nobody. Yeah, you can't see what we're doing over here. What I don't understand is how they don't have cameras in there.
Well, I figured, if the Empire's trying to get rid of clones, and they probably don't have it in their budget to have cameras.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he's trying to save money.
Yeah.
I think the reason he's trying to save money is so he can build himself a Death Star. I think that's the money needs to
Yeah.
go to the Death Star.
No. It's just like no more clones, no cameras, but we have it in the budget to keep our fresh latte machine.
Yes.
No cameras or clones.
Very, very important.
Wow. Yeah,
I'll never fit through that.
Yeah, we just had a special guest on this last podcast. His name's Hunter Smoke, and he was the first person that actually made like a hunter costume for the Power Force.
Nice.
And then he was the first person to make the realistic version of Captain Rex, of the Phase 2 armor as well. And he pulls it off so well. So every time I like see like Hunter on here, I'm just like, Hunter can totally do like a fan film or something if he really wanted to.
That's so
because
cool.
because of he like did the helmet, but like he also actually he actually bought a headband and like the actual hair as well.
That's so cool. I wish I could do that. I like that. All right. something pleasing about watching somebody punch a stormtrooper in the helmet. I don't know. Just makes me laugh. It's like what the helmet's for then. You know what I mean? If somebody can just punch you in the face. I think that's sad though that they're still trying to get Crosshair. You know what I mean? Like they cared about him that much. They're like, we got to get Crosshair. We got to we got to get him. They don't realize that he's not the same anymore.
There we go.
You good?
For me, like your like the audio was glitching all over the place. I couldn't even understand. So I didn't plug my mic and see if it was mine. It was mine.
I always laugh in Star Wars, like when something bad happens, they never destroy or disable the ship. They just leave it. You know what I mean? Like they'll leave it in the hangar without like messing with it.
Well, yeah, and I think Darth Maul was one of the only people that really like knew how to sabotage stuff. Because of in every episode of Clone Wars where we saw Darth Maul, he would always like go for their ship because if we like saw it in multiple occasions where like that scene where Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, Savage, and Stas Ali, who gets killed by Savage, on their way out when they were running away from the pirates, like it's not even close to him, like it's not in his way, but Darth Maul just uses the Force on Obi-Wan's ship, and he just like pushes it off the cliff.
Yeah,
like,
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's why I was so like taken aback whenever I watched the Rise of Skywalker, and they save the Falcon and bring the Falcon to, and I'm like,
why do they just float up? Yeah,
like really.
Yeah.
And then even the deleted scene in Force Awakens when Kylo Ren goes onto the Falcon, I'm like, and he just like walked away. He was like, "All right, let's go." You know, like there's no way.
I don't like Crosshair's armor.
Why?
I'm not a fan of it.
I think it's just Crosshair.
No. I like this old armor. I'm not a big fan of this whole dark thing. I feel like they like probably could have put more design on it. I know like the intention of it, like I mean, is what they kind of go into the Empire, where pretty much every single design is like, you know, just plain, like, and simple, and it just sends the message of like the message of like we're all one like unit, like we're all one group.
Gotcha.
And it kind of steers away from the clones, you know, being their own individuals. They wanted to steer away from it.
True.
And that's why they got Predator clone legions and stuff, and it's because they got more strict with their policy of oh shoot.
And now I'm not going to see Tech as anything but Egon from Ghostbusters. Like that's all I'm going to be thinking about.
Yeah.
When she picks up the blaster here in a second.
And then he throws like Captain America. He's like, yeah.
That's like some Incredible Hulk stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of like the clapping hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what did he? Oh, he turned off, like he blew off the fire. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was
Yeah. So for Wrecker, he's taken so many hits, and
I know, right? This dude's been hit so many times, but he's still going.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I love that. I love that she's trying to help them escape. Ah, it's so great.
Yeah. Well, I think she's doing it more for the
to protect Omega.
Yeah. I'm just curious of whose DNA
that
was used for her.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously we're gonna find out, but it's still fun to kind of theorize who she is and why they did what they did with her.
Run, kid.
Hey, so when you see this toy at Galaxy's Edge, be sure to buy one for me, okay?
Yeah. Yep. And it's just funny because if he's like, "Oh, you found my Lula," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, when I saw her holding the gun, I was like, "Yes!" I was like, "Oh, she is awesome." That's probably. I think that was my favorite part of the episode was that shot of her holding
She
the
was
gun.
gonna shoot a kid. I mean, he was.
Yeah, he was gonna shoot a kid, but she was gonna shoot a grown man. We don't talk about that. You know what I mean? Just kidding. She's like, nope,
yeah.
don't mind me, just watching.
And this is where he gets really suspicious.
Has the matter been rectified? Is that the original voice actor of him? Sounds kind of just like him.
Yeah. It sounds kind of like him. I don't think that the I mean, we like saw Ton Wee, but she didn't talk.
Yeah, true.
And we saw the younger clones, and Daniel Logan didn't talk either. But I don't know why, but I got a suspicion that we might see younger Boba Fett in this.
Oh yeah, we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Ow.
I want to see in some way of how he because if Cad Bane ends up still being alive during this time, because at this point, we don't know the actual canon story of what happened to Cad Bane.
Yeah.
They actually made this the whole like arc of where Boba Fett and Cad Bane go on this adventure, and then Cad Bane and Boba Fett have a shootout, and then Cad Bane shoots Boba Fett in the helmet, and then that was supposed to be the canon way that Boba Fett got the dent in his helmet.
Oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Sorry. No, I think we will see Cad Bane, and I also think we will see Boba Fett, because now bounty hunters are after her.
Yeah.
So her in the cockpit looking at the stars.
Yeah.
And then the hyperspace through her eyes. Like if I get that tattooed on me, that'd be cool. Like her eyes with the lights going, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will always remember my first time of pushing down the lever on the Falcon and going to hyperspace. That was probably one of my favorite moments, because, like, I mean, it's something you've always dreamed of, and we've always dreamed of being in the world of Star Wars, and then you just get there and you're just blown away by everything. So
agreed.
Yeah, and now they're doing the new Galactic Cruiser and everything, and that's gonna be cool.
Here we go. Strap in, kid. You're not gonna want to miss this view. This was awesome. This made me go, oh, the Bad Batch is gonna be good. When you see it through her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Push it forward.
I mean, so it's really interesting too, is because of they like go into hyperspace right here and like that, but from the outside ship's point of view, they haven't even left.
Hey, we won't talk about that, okay?
No. I think the reason why that it's like that is because of the ship is going like so fast through like space and time that it kind of lags a bit to kind of catch up with the actual ship. Because of we actually see them actually in Star Wars Rebels, where they actually kind of detach from the actual ship and they leave hyperspace like as they're in, and it looks like they're just coming out of like a different dimension or something.
Yeah,
and then it's like all rainbow and it's pretty cool. But
it's true, I didn't catch that.
That was the first episode of the Bad Batch.
I liked it. I mean, I know we're late, but I think that I don't know. We're on episode 5 coming up this week. Yeah. And don't worry, listeners, we will catch up, and we will catch up. But I'm so excited for this show. I think it's another hit for Disney and Lucasfilm, and Dave Filoni. I think he's just killing it right now with all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, this honestly is like our kind of glimpse of what next year's going to be like, because 2022 is the year of Star Wars for sure.
2022 and 2023 are going to be the years for Star Wars.
Yeah,
definitely, because and I feel like Kennedy is getting her final she's finally getting what she wanted, which was a chance to really map out Star Wars.
Yeah.
And now she's like, okay, here it is. This is what we need to do. And I know this is getting controversial, but I think she'd always tried to bring Filoni in, but I don't think Disney like kind of knew, or I don't want to say knew, but like they were kind of like, okay. But I think after they did Mandalorian, they were like, oh God, yeah, like he needs to be involved. And she was probably like,
yeah, because yeah, I have high hopes for the future of Star Wars, and I mean, and there's so much that is going to happen next year, and not just that, you know, for like, you know, for shows and movies, but there's also the games. There's also Star Wars Celebration 2022, and there's also the new Star Wars Hotel. I mean, if that doesn't screen the year of Star Wars, I don't know what does.
yeah, you're crazy. And then again, next year we're getting season 3 of The Mandalorian,
Yeah,
which is probably the most anticipated thing in Star Wars.
Besides Kenobi.
Besides Kenobi, yeah, Kenobi's gonna be insane.
Well, I mean, so since Disney got the rights to Lucasfilm, you know, people have been saying that from the very beginning. Like, we want a Kenobi movie. We want a Kenobi show. I'm glad that they didn't do the movie. I'm glad they switched to the show, because with the show, it gives you more time with the characters and more story development. And that's what we really always wanted with these characters.
Can I ask you a question? Has it hit you that it's happening, that the Kenobi series is happening? Has it hit you fully, or are you still kind of like, nah, this is something crazy? You know,
it semi hit me during the investors call that
a year ago, right?
Yeah, like a year ago, and you know, only the investors got to see the concept art for the show.
I know,
but all of it was described to us, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited, because of this character deserves more screen time. This character has gone through so much, and what blew my mind is when Kathleen Kennedy said that, you know, that Obi-Wan and Darth Vader would have the rematch of a century. And then I just kind of was like, wait, what? So
I know I haven't been on the podcast, and I apologize, listeners, but there was a book called Skywalker Family at War that just came out a couple of months ago about the Skywalker family. And it touched on Kenobi, and they were very vague with that whole era. And I think because they didn't want them to say the story of what Kenobi was going through in Tatooine, but you could tell they would say something and then they would quickly like move to another part of the book, and you're like, man, you know, they're like, you can't say anything about what Kenobi was doing,
right?
But anyways, I know, hey guys, we're talking a lot. Thank y'all for listening to this commentary. We'll be back again with the next couple episodes. Like I said, we will be caught up, and we will be going all forward with this thing, and we're getting this almost all summer. So this is so exciting for Bad Batch. Colin, this was fun. And everybody, you take care. May the Force be with you.
Always.
And